All right, yes, welcome. Welcome to Grenada, Carriacou, PD Mondic, and the rest of the world, people. This is where it all happens. We are talking about another Mikey Life program. People, this is news discussed, not told. So much happening in Grenada. Of course, it has the news people on their ears, on their P's, on their Q's. So many places to run to, information to obtain. Credible information to obtain, meetings to attend, press conferences to attend. I think it really demands a lot from the local journalists at this moment. Of course, while we try to tell you other news, primarily people really want to hear what's going on in Grenada with regards to the coronavirus. Rumors or information circulating that Grenada has recorded its first case of the coronavirus. We're going to be talking about that and a lot more here on Mikey Life program. Folks, we do not have a horse in the race, and so we try our best as much as we can do. We try our best to provide to you very credible information. Yeah? And although we have our own style of delivery, of course we stick to the fundamentals of journalism and to the principles. Of course, we do not violate as much as possible. We keep it straight and narrow. Just trust that whatever information we publish or disseminate, we do so to the best of our judgment. With that being said, let's talk to you about what's making the news for tonight. The Spice Mass Corporation, they are going to focus on traditional mass for Spice Mass 2020. Personal income tax filing deadlines ahead. Of course, we're going to talk to you about that as well. No case of the coronavirus here in Grenada. No case of the coronavirus in the SGU. No case of the coronavirus anywhere at the Tri-Island State. We're going to talk about that. No confirmed case, that is. Early closure of school at SAS today. We're going to tell you why. And the shops and supermarkets stormed tonight, this afternoon, this evening, as word of corona circulates. All right, we're going to talk about that as well. All right, visitation suspended for inmates at the Richmond Hill prison. We're going to talk about that. And we have a statement by the government regarding Grenlec. All right, TNT gets its first case of the coronavirus hours after neighboring St. Vincent and the Grenadines revealed their first case of the coronavirus. We have so many things to tell you about on the program. Get comfortable. A glass of water, so whatever it is that you need. Make sure your phone is charged and things like that. We're going to have an okay time on the program as usual. In an entertaining manner, we give you news that you need to know about. So folks, we are going to take a quick break and return shortly. And when we come back, it could be real news in Olilililo. So brace all yourself, no man.
We enjoy the luxury of a quality water supply. But it can come to this. Have adequate storage.
Grenada is the place to be June 5th to 7th for the highly anticipated Grenada Music Festival 2020, featuring two-time Grammy Award winners Kool and the Gang, Coco T, Romaine Virgo, Marcia Griffiths, Arturo Tappan, Crossfire, Nadia Batson, Was Ways, Vaughn, and the Dancehall Emperor, Shallow Ranks. 3 nights of amazing music, great food, and pure Grenada hospitality. Grenada Music Festival 2020, June 5th to 7th, Quarantine Park, Grenada. Tickets available online at gotofet.com. Book your flights at hotel today. This ad is sponsored by the Grenada Tourism Authority.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom
for me and you.
I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. What a wonderful world.
Why not stay in? Turn off the alarm clock and sleep some more on your perfect mattress from Quartz. For the widest range of mattresses from the world's best brands, the best value guaranteed. Shop today and let our sleep experts help you to decide on the best option to suit your needs. At Quartz, we don't just sell mattresses, we're offering you the best night's sleep. So, sleep in a little on your new mattress from Quartz. Quartz, bringing value home.
planning an event or looking to rent tents? Then call the tent experts at Waggy T Tent Rentals. We rent tents for all occasions. Tents in different colors, styles, and 25 different sizes, from as little as 10 by 10 to as large as 100 by 40. Call us at 439-TENT. That's 439-8368. Or visit our office at Frequente Industrial Park, Grand Anse, St. George. We are Grenada's tent people.
Alright, so they say that they are Grenada's 10 people. Again, we want to welcome everybody on the program. Those of you who are here with us for the first time, welcome. And returning viewers, well, welcome as usual. Thank you for joining us. Now, traditional mass will be the focus of Spice Mass 2020. Now, that announcement was made this morning at the official media launch of the Spice Mass 2020 by, of course, the CEO of the Spice Mass Corporation, Mr. Kelvin Jacobs. Of course, they say that they are going to be placing a lot of emphasis on the Shotney, the Veko, and the Mogo Jumbi, and so on. They are saying that Spice Mass 2020 will be a festival to remember. They guarantee you that it will be the event of choice around the world in terms of the carnival that everyone wants to go to. So again, the focus will be on the traditional mass. Folks, personal income tax deadline. Now, the Inland Revenue Division in the Ministry of Finance has sent out notice reminding individuals of the deadline for filing personal income tax return to the month for the month of March. Now, the IRD is urging all taxpayers to file their returns on this time to avoid penalties. Employees, you are reminded that the current income tax law not only mandates persons earning in excess of $3,000 per month or $36,000 per year to pay income tax. Alright, the release also reminds these taxpayers that their income tax return must be filed each year. Sole traders and partners and companies, other organizations, and employed persons are being urged to prepare and file return. The tax returns must be submitted to the Inland Revenue Division on or before the 30th of March 2020. This year, the Inland Revenue Division is trying to be very strict on this. The individual income tax return has been simplified, they say, for salaried workers, and the profit and loss statement has been reintroduced for individuals with businesses. Now, individuals with businesses must either fill out the profit and losses statement section provided on the form or attach a physical statement to the return. Now, the return would not be accepted without the financial statements attached. Taxpayers who do not meet the deadline of March 30th, 2020 will be required to pay late filing penalties of 5% on amount of the tax owing. A further 1% of the amount owing for each month or part month once failure to file continues, or $500 plus a further $100 for each month or path month, whichever is greater. Wow. Now, the secondary school SAS, the St. Andrews Secondary School, today sent home its students at around 10 this morning. And this is in keeping with the mandatory guidelines handed down by the Ministry of Education, which states that when there is no running water in taps, parents should be notified and there should be the immediate closure of schools. Today we got information from someone at the school claiming that there was no water, and so that parents should be advised that they should come collect their students. All right. Now, in speaking with the Minister for Education, she indicated that the guidelines have been implemented as of last week, and of course, the schools are following those guidelines. All right. And so, once something happens within the guidelines, the principals and staff are to take the necessary action, and this was one of them. Again, when there is no running water in the tap, parents should be notified and there should be the immediate closure of school. Shops and supermarkets was stormed this afternoon as word started circulating that Grenada has recorded its first coronavirus case, which, by the way, is absolutely false. According to our last checks, just before coming on the program, Grenada, at this time and this date, have not had any confirmation of any person having the coronavirus in the Tri-Island state, be it Grenada, Carriacou, or Petite Martinique. Speaking of Petite Martinique, this morning we had the Minister for Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs and the coordinator for the coronavirus there speaking about the information that has been circulating that a vessel came into Petite Martinique with sick persons, and they interacted with people of Petite Martinique, and one of them was a carrier with the coronavirus. This information has been debunked by the ministry officials, saying that, hey, they are aware of a vessel with somebody who's had some sort of health complication who never left the vessel. Someone disembarked from the vessel and went for help in Petite Martinique, and they interacted with an individual at a restaurant there. According to the officials, they say out of an abundance of caution, though no one showed any signs of any illness, out of an abundance of caution, they had instructed the waiter, the person who served the person's food there, to go into quarantine. All right? Self-quarantine, and that's the information that was disseminated. All right? We've also done our checks, and we were told that there were no confirmed cases of the coronavirus on island here in Grenada. However, we cannot say the same for Trinidad and Tobago. Today they recorded their first case. Now, folks, despite information going out there, persons use the opportunity today to go into supermarkets and shops and bought the place down. In regular supermarkets, the place was so busy, parking was filled to capacity. Items were obviously going in scarcity on the shelves. Some of the essentials, like it's very hard for you to find hand sanitizers. You would find that some varieties of toiletries are also gone, and the soap, liquid soap and so on, you see a lot of that going off the shelves. Canned foods and biscuits and snacks and a lot of things are actually going off the shelf as persons become a little more anxious or a little more concerned about their well-being as information continues to circulate that Grenada has recorded its first case. Again, our last checks, Grenada has not had any confirmed cases of the coronavirus. Now, we are moving on. Visitation, by the way, at Her Majesty's prisons has been halted, suspended, until further notice, they said. Yeah, there was a correspondence that was snapped and sent to us, advising. It says to all officers and visitors, please be advised with immediate effect, there will be no visit for inmates or church visitations until further notice. And the information is coming from the Commissioner of Prisons, of course, that was sent to us by one of our sources earlier today. Folks, we continue to see the cancellation of many activities and events. Of course, we will be telling you about this one as well. We've been telling you about this football match that is to be taking place in Grenada here with Martinique. Now, the Grenada Football Association has taken the decision to postpone all upcoming friendlies and football matches. Now, persons who have purchased tickets for the match Grenada versus Martinique on the 25th of March 2020, you are asked to return the tickets to the outlet of purchase for a refund. Now, as of Friday, March 13, all local tournaments, women, under 15 and under 19, and the national team's training are suspended until further notice. The Grenada Football Association will continue to monitor the COVID-19 situation and will adhere to the national guidelines. All clubs and coaching staff, you are asked to adhere to the guidelines provided. So again, as of the 13th of March, which is tomorrow, God's will, all local tournaments, all right, all the local tournaments and national, well, which is the women under 15 and the under 19 and so on, and the national team training are suspended until further notice. And so says the GFA. All right. Now, Olio, we are moving on. How are we looking for time? Now, police has sent out information regarding an official statement on the discovery of a body at the Grand Etan Lake. According to police, the body of Andrew Jones was recovered from Grand Etan Lake sometime after 11 a.m. on Wednesday, 11th March 2020. Jones was 52 of St. Paul, St. George, was reported missing after a vehicle he was driving was found partially submerged in the lake 2 days earlier. They say an autopsy is pending to determine the actual cause of his death. Folks, we are moving on. How are we looking for time? I want to big up all the people in Closure, boy. You understand? I see a whole lot of people from Closure on the live. That's my people, them. I want to big up all. I want you to know that though, oops, I'm not ready for you yet. I'm ready for you yet. Do I miss you guys? I would visit you sometimes. I think about you guys all the time. Earlier, yeah man, Campus Live, the St. George's University. That was a nice video. I was looking at the other day about the St. George's University. Interesting institution. Now, the St. George's University, yesterday you would have seen that they had an internal memo that was sent to students that got to the public. Yes? And so a lot of people wanted to know what was going on and so on. And so let's tell you this. All right, now we receive a correspondence from the St. George's University, which reads, the St. George's University has been closely following the global outbreak of the coronavirus COVID-19, including its recent characterization as a pandemic, as well as the potential implications it may have on our True Blue Grenada campus and the larger community in Grenada. It goes on to say that while at this time there are no confirmed COVID-19 cases in Grenada, the safety and well-being of our students, faculty and staff, and the larger Grenadian community are of paramount importance to us. Our goal is to make prudent decisions that reflect our commitment to the ongoing safety of our campus community and that of the people of Grenada. SGU has decided to encourage all international students on the Grenada campus to return home, with the situation being re-evaluated by April 15th. Now, students would only return to Grenada when it is well advisable and the global pandemic has stabilized. We will be in close communication and coordination with the Ministry of Health regarding the regarding the timing of students' return. Now, they say that some students and faculty, both local and international, will remain in Grenada, and our campus will remain open for all who continue to reside there, with full use of campus facilities. Now, this approach is consistent with recommendations for institutions of higher education from public health officials and mirrors the actions taken by many universities around the globe to limit the density of large populations on their campuses. Now, this plan is for only small groups to meet face-to-face with appropriate social distancing, with the further development and implementation of online education to reduce the need for face-to-face classroom gatherings. Now, they say that we will continue to operate the campus in Grenada with full staffing, with no change to current employment status, pay, or benefits. Now, these actions are taken out of concern for our students, faculty, and staff, and the desire to maintain public health in Grenada in light of this rapidly changing situation. SGU is also working closely with the government of Grenada to assist with preparations for enhancing the public health infrastructure on the island. It goes on to say that, as SGU has done in the past during challenging times, we will continue to stand with our Grenadian partners and the people of Grenada with support and close collaboration. That's Dr. Charles Modica, Chancellor of SGU, stating this. Now, the Prime Minister, Dr. Mitchell, says that we appreciate the close partnership with SGU and Chancellor Modica and want to support all four efforts to lessen the risk to Grenada of COVID-19. It goes on to say that we will continue to closely coordinate with SGU to address this issue and mitigate the impact on Grenada, unquote. That's the Prime Minister speaking. To date, they say, no member of the university community has contracted COVID-19. They say that we have been working diligently with the Ministry of Health, Grenada, and our international partners to consider every contingency that will allow us to limit exposure to the disease among members of the SGU and Grenadian community. And that's basically, folks, the correspondence that we received. What are playing with me video? What are playing with me thing? All the push-ups. So that's the correspondence that we received from the St. George's University. You know, Carl just want to play, come in and jump the gun on me tonight. No, listen, don't fret me, Good. All right, we're going to tell you about Caribbean Airlines in a while, but we're just not ready yet. Oh, yeah. So that's from SGU. So you all know that there's been a lot of talk, right, about the Grenlec and the future of Grenlec and WRB and the government, and you know there's been a lot of challenges where that is concerned. And so now there's been some development, and we received a press statement from the government on this. But hold on, before we go to that, we just received a correspondence from the Grenada Broadcasting Network. I go read the business, you know, because that's what we're here for. We go read the business. All right, hold on, let me turn the thing because you know the text kind of small. All right, so this is coming out from the Grenada Broadcasting Network, GBN in other words now. It says that it has come to the attention, listen again, blind, It has come to the attention of the Grenada Broadcasting Network of a photostat image bearing the likeness of Grenada's Prime Minister, Dr. Mitchell, has been in circulation online. It says that the image, which bears the headline "Breaking News Alleges that the Prime Minister was seen leaving the country after rumors of coronavirus on its shores." A Grenada Broadcast Network GBN logo has been superimposed on the image. It says that the management of the Grenada Broadcasting Network wishes to make it categorically clear that this image was not generated or circulated by our organization nor its representatives or agents. The GBN hereby issues a cease and desist notice to the perpetrators of this act and other persons who have served as a distributing agent or distributing agents through their circulations of same. The company reserves the right to seek appropriate actions and redress in this matter. All right. Well, I didn't see the thing between me and you. I didn't see it. I didn't see the circular that they are referring to. But I'll have to probably check and see who the people are that is responsible for this business. All right. Going back to regular programming. So, the thing between Grenlec, WRB, and the government, we received a press statement about that, in which we will be sharing with you in 3, 2, 1.
And release of the Government of Grenada WRB Arbitration Award. The International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes, ICSID, on March 4, 2020, advised the parties, Government of Grenada and WRB, that the International Arbitration Tribunal, set up to rule on the matter of whether government should repurchase WRB's shares in Grenlec, and if so, how much government should pay, expects to issue its pending decision during the week of March 8, 2020. The public will recall that in the year 2016, the government, in undertaking its constitutional duties with the help of the World Bank through the ISERA project, passed a new Electricity Supply Act and a new Public Utilities Regulatory Commission Act. These provisions were made for the purpose of regulating the cost of electricity to consumers and for the purpose of encouraging the use of alternative means of generating less costly electricity, including households generating and using their own electricity, while selling any excess to Grenlec at prices set by the Commission, which the company has vehemently resisted, among other things. The substantial owners of Grenlec, that is, Grenada Private Power Limited and WRB Enterprises Inc., who own 50% of the company, took issue with government's initiatives, claiming that government was in breach of the share purchase agreement, which was executed by the Nicholas Brafitt administration in 1994, and which agreement required the government of Grenada to buy back WRB shares if certain events occurred, including the passage of certain laws, a natural disaster, or the fall in the value of the EC dollar. WRB then demanded that the government repurchase all WRB's shares in Grenlec within a stated time period. Government has denied that it was in breach of the share purchase agreement and in any event refused to repurchase the said shares at the exorbitant price which was called. Moreover, the share purchase agreement, which was signed in 1994, made any repurchase of Grenlec a penalty on the citizens, as it made the repurchase price more than twice the real market value. As a consequence, the substantial owners took the matter to the International Arbitration Tribunal in Washington, D.C. in the year 2017, in accordance with the provisions of the share purchase agreement. The matter was heard in June 2019, and its pending decision is due to be delivered this week. The decision will in one way or the other pave the way for the quick implementation of the laws and regulations which are expected to bring tremendous benefits to the people of Grenada, Carriacou and Petite Martinique, as the cost of electricity is expected to be reduced, with homes and businesses being able to produce and use their own electricity. Unfortunately, these benefits for our people are now being delayed by Grenlec's actions in the local court. While WRB may have forced majority shares in Grenlec into government's hands, Public Utilities Minister the Honourable Gregory Boyne said, and I quote, "The government maintains that it has no intention to run Grenlec, but it will ensure that the policies and laws are followed to reduce the cost of electricity for individuals and businesses, as well as to meet Grenada's commitment to renewable energy use, a requirement for Grenada to access the hundreds of millions of dollars already earmarked and more," unquote. The preceding was a press statement on the imminent release of the Government of Grenada WRB Arbitration Award.
All right. Thank you very much. Now it's time for you, Kyle. Yeah, so push up. Okay. So, Kyle, yes. So let's tell you this, right? Now, serious business now, right? With the death of a Guyanese woman, 13 Caribbean airline crew members have been quarantined. This is how serious this has gotten. Now, the Caribbean Airlines on Thursday said that 13 crew members who were manning the flight on which a Guyanese woman was traveling and later died and tested positive for the new coronavirus have been placed on self-quarantine. Yeah? Jano. The passenger, they say, traveled on March 7, 2020 on BW 521 from JFK International Airport, New York Piaco International Airport. Well, from New York to the Piaco International Airport in transit to Guyana. Yeah, tested positive. Well, then it was too late because she died. So they say they do some backtracking and so on. And among those to be quarantined were the crew members, 13 of them. Now that's some serious issue we're talking about then. Hey, huh? if by virtue of doing your job, you subject yourself to that kind of thing, well, hello. You understand? Anyway, so that's the situation there with the Caribbean Airlines. Now, the situation in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, where this woman, I don't think she went to St. Vincent on a direct flight. She came from England. And so there wasn't a direct flight to England, from England to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So she may have hubbed somewhere, in transit somewhere. I think it might have been Barbados or so. So maybe she may have interacted with people there as well. It's not certain as to where she contracted the virus, but some backtracking has to take place. You understand? So let's see. Speaking of seeing, for those of you who are not yet aware, the NBA League yesterday announced that it will be suspending the rest of the season after a Utah Jazz player tested positive for the virus. The news came after the NBA game between the Utah Jazz and Oklahoma City Thunder was abruptly postponed last evening. Well, in fact, while the game was going on, the news broke. In fact, they knew of it before the game started, right before the game started. So that on hold, right? Suspending that, possibly for the rest of the season. Now, I also know that in Trinidad, they have suspended cruise ship entries for the rest of the season in Trinidad. Suspended entries for the rest of the season in Trinidad. Hey, I tell you, that's some serious business we're talking about there. The corona continues to show up its ugly head. And before long, we would not just have to think about the health implications that the virus will have on our people, but also the health, social, and economic implications. This is how serious this has. The COVID-19. Now, folks, on your screen is an invitation from Gray's training center. It's actually a training and certification center, you know. So check them out, right? Now, here's what they're offering you. Registration, early registration of up to 10% off. And they say that this, my friends, is a limited offer. You have to register for the upcoming courses starting September of 2020. Now, the courses include reception, marketing, management, payroll clerk, accounting clerk, business administration, human resource development, as well as general office administration, administrative assistance, develop a new or existing business, graphic designs, customs services, and customer service. All right, now you can contact them on telephone number 435-3318 or 403-6197, or you can also email Gray's Training Center, that's CENTER, at gmail.com. Their website, gtcsonline.org. So visit them as soon as it is possible. All right, folks, that's the Grays. Now, folks, what we want to do right now is take a quick break and return in a moment. This is Mikey Live. For those of you who have not yet done so, please share the business.
We enjoy the luxury of a quality water supply. But it can come to this. Have adequate storage.
Grenada is the place to be June 5th to 7th for the highly anticipated Grenada Music Festival 2020, featuring two-time Grammy Award winners Kool and the Gang, Coco T, Romaine Virgo, Marcia Griffiths, Arturo Tappan, Crossfire, Nadia Batson, Was Ways, Vaughn, and the Dancehall Emperor, Chavo Ranks. 3 nights of amazing music, great food, and pure Grenada hospitality. Grenada Music Festival 2020, June 5th to 7th, Quarantine Park, Grenada. Tickets available online at gotofet.com. Book your flights at hotel today. This ad is sponsored by the Grenada Tourism Authority.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom
For me and you.
I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. What a wonderful world.
Are you looking to rent chairs and tables? Then call Waggy T Rentals. We rent tables and chairs for any event. We have 7 different types of chairs: plastic, folding chairs, gray and white, resin white chairs, conference chairs, even Chivari chairs in gold and white. We also rent 6 feet and 8 feet rectangular folding tables, 4 feet and 5 feet round tables, and even cocktail tables. Give us a call at 444-RENT. That's 444-7368. Or visit our office at Frequente Industrial Park, Granite, St. George.
Not stay in. Just start the alarm clock and sleep some more on your perfect mattress from Quartz. For the widest range of mattresses from the world's best brands, the best value guaranteed. Shop today and let our sleep experts help you to decide on the best option to suit your needs. At Quartz, we don't just sell mattresses, we're offering you the best night's sleep. So, sleep in a little on your new mattress from Quartz. Quartz, bringing value home.
And we have our entertainment piece for you, Splash, Patrice Roberts. Very interesting.
That's what I pay you for. Splash! I don't care. Get it done.
Can I miss again?
Yes.
Oh, what the Dickens? Oh, gosh.
Patrice. And
Are you okay?
Guitars, honey.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm here for the viewing of the venue for the wedding reception.
Cause them want me single, single. Them man want to mingle, mingle.
Oh, I love this. We can use this as a focal point with my floral arrangement. Oh, and this area here for the family. Look, this is fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
Patrice again. Nessa.
Yeah. Ooh, that's right. Hey. What?
Patrice again. Nessa. We go kill him with the wine, girl. Kill him with the wine, girl.
That's right.
Hey. Splash. Body wet up, wet girl, where the man them prefer. Drip drop on a wine and bubble. Body wet like the fire, baby. Splash. Body wet up, wet girl, where the man them prefer. Drip drop on a wine and bubble. Body wet like the fire, baby. Splash.
What you call that sauce? Kinda wine make man want divorce. Cause them want me single, single. Them man want to mingle, mingle.
Where you want? Loose this. Want to taste some sweet, sweet juice, eh? Hey, I go give you the wine, but you have to work for this ride. Splash.
Body wet up, wet
like river, baby. Body wet up, wet girl, where the man them prefer. Drip drop on a wine and bubble. Body wet like river, baby.
What you call that sauce? Guy now I make man what he was. Cause them want be single, single. Them man want to mingle, mingle.
Where you are? Loose this. Want to taste some sweet, sweet juice, eh? Hey, I go give you the wine, but you have to work for this ride.
Splash! Body wet up. Wet gal with the man them prefer. Drip drop when I wine and bubble. Body wet like river, baby.
Splash! Body wet up. Wet gal where the man them prefer. Drip drop when I wine and bubble. Body wet like river, baby.
Patrice, and that's a peppy. Let me go pee. Hey.
You really doing, boy?
Honey, you would believe I was thinking the same thing. Who needs to get married? It's Cannibal!
Splash! What? Body wet up.
Yes, so yes, Splash, Body Wet Up. That's Patrice Roberts there with her. Yeah, anyway, alright. Okay. And that was the entertainment piece for tonight. And folks, it is now time for the National Report.
Eastern Caribbean Central Bank to make 500,000 EC dollars available to Grenada for COVID-19 preparedness and response. Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the details to the news for Thursday, March 12th, I am Leslie Ann Johnson. Grenada will receive $500,000 EC dollars from the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, ECCB, to assist in its preparedness and response activities for COVID-19. That announcement by Acting Prime Minister, the Honorable Gregory Bowen, who says $250,000 will be in cash for equipment and the remainder for procurement of equipment and supplies through the OECS Pharmaceutical Procurement Service, or OECS PPS. He was addressing a meeting with stakeholders on COVID-19 on Thursday. This is in addition to the $2 million already earmarked by government. The Acting Prime Minister says a four-pronged strategy must be in place by countries looking at preparedness and readiness, detection, prevention and treatment, reduction and suppression, and innovation and improvement, all of which this government adheres to. The Acting Prime Minister Bowen says an economic team has been established to determine how the virus can impact labor and critical services like transportation, banking, finance, and trade.
Just to highlight some of the possible impact already identified: trade disruptions, implications for production and consequently firms' profits, and possible layoffs as a possible strain on the banking system. Increase in cost of living by trade disruptions will also result in inflationary pressures with possible social impacts in terms of cost of living. Reduction in government fiscal revenues. No trade, no activities on the port. May not be zero, but maybe 30%. And so 30% of the usual revenues collected. You can just imagine where that will leave us, and not only us, other countries in the region as well. Travel disruption and decline in tourism-related numbers. Travel disruption, both air and the sea, will have a significant economic impact in terms of employment, personal income, and government's revenue if there are widespread disruptions in travel. If there, will there? The next presentation will guide you along that path. Widespread illnesses will negatively affect labor, productivity, and the NIS reserves. Social impact, cancellation of social events and mass gathering.
He says the impact can be greater if we were to be hit by a tropical storm or hurricane in the upcoming Atlantic hurricane season. Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, who joined the meeting immediately on his arrival from Guyana as part of a CARICOM mission, warned that their preparedness efforts cannot include closing down the country, since this can have a bigger social impact.
Looking at short-term stimulus, therefore we have to look at a package. The hotel sector, clearly, at this point in time, with the seriousness of the problems we're facing, just sending home workers at this time cannot be the most viable approach. At the same time, we cannot expect a business to be operating at having serious deficit and having to pay workers. So clearly, we are definitely looking at how we can provide some support. Some of the resources from the IMF and the World Bank will be looking how we can use that for the workplace in general. So we have to do analysis of almost every aspect. I mentioned tourism and the hotel, but it have to be all areas. So we cannot at this time just be sending home workers. We have to be very careful with our approach on this particular issue, because we have to deal with the sociological impact of any decision that we make.
Dr. Mitchell said the issue is of national concern in which every stakeholder must be involved. Health Minister Nicholas Steele, who was also at the meeting, reassured that government and his ministry are bolstering efforts to ensure that citizens are protected.
We are entering a different phase with respect to COVID-19 virus or infection. It is now a pandemic. We are seeing many of our neighboring CARICOM countries declaring their first case, imported case. We are seeing now the very alarming trend that these imported cases are coming from previously non-blacklisted countries like the US and the United Kingdom. So we need to change our strategy, and I was particularly appreciative of almost every stakeholder representative here acknowledges the fact and has basically pledged to participate, and that we were able to share the message that don't wait for us to make all of the decisions. And many of the stakeholders here recognize that and have been making the various preparations on their own part.
Sector representatives also made presentations on what they see as critical steps to be included in government's preparedness plans. The COVID-19 coordinator in Carriacou has dismissed rumors that Petite Martinique has recorded its first case of the virus. Dr. Tyrone Davis, who is also the island's district medical officer, disclosed that on Tuesday, March 10th, one passenger on a yacht was sick, but the individual did not disembark. The other passengers disembarked and are currently in self-quarantine.
None of those passengers who came ashore displayed any symptoms of respiratory illness. Therefore, the risk of contracting respiratory illness to any persons that were in contact with those that disembarked the yacht is very low. However, out of an abundance of caution, the COVID-19 coordinator of Carriacou and Petite Martinique, Dr. Davis, recommended that the waiter who served the group go into self-quarantine.
He has assured that if the virus does reach Petite Martinique, measures will be taken to ensure that the island is equipped with nurses and doctors.
If we had more doctors, I think it would be a good idea. But for now, with the limited amount of resources, in Carriacou, we are stationed 3 doctors here. If the case arises and we need that support, obviously, we may have to think about it. Maybe we can have a nurse. The thing with our doctor in Petite Martinique, if the need arises, then we will have a doctor in Petite Martinique. So let's say we have an increase in respiratory illnesses, then we have to have a doctor there 24/7 to serve the public. That will happen. But for now, everything is under control.
Minister for Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs, Honorable Kindra Mathurin Stewart, reminded the general public that they need to avoid sharing and spreading false information, which will only lead to unnecessary panic.
Not to go into a state of panic at this time. Panic can only lead to further chaos and further confusion. We will not be able to make rational and reasonable decisions if we are panicked. So I want to urge all of us to continue to listen to credible news sources, continue to listen to the information that we from the government of Grenada will be giving out Now, as I said yesterday in our press conference, we as doctors, well, not as doctors, but we as ministers and government officials, we are not immune to this particular virus. So if this virus were to come here in Carriacou and Petite Martinique, we too, our families, our friends, our neighbors, will just likely be exposed to it. And so we are doing everything that we can in our ability to ensure that we keep Carriacou and Petite Martinique safe at this time.
This is the National Report. More news after the break.
Grenada's #1 track and field event is back. The Inter-Secondary School Championships is back at the Karani James Athletic Stadium. You must be there. Experience the intense rivalry between athletes of our secondary schools on the track and in the field. Blame yourself if you missed the first ever Republic Bank sponsored Intercall 2020. Blame yourself if you miss a day of exciting action on the track. Be there every day, day 1, 2, and 3. The 53rd Intercall Championships takes place on March 31st, April 1st, and 2nd, starting at 9 a.m. each day. Come, let's celebrate the inaugural Republic Bank Intercall. Come out families, come out past students, come out school-based supporters for the return of competition on the track and in the field, because Intercall is back.
Continuing the news, the Spice Mass Corporation says focus will be placed this year on working with mass bands to promote earlier marketing and making of costumes. CEO Kelvin Jacob says this will give sufficient time to deal with challenges that may arise and will also lend to proper budgeting and other logistics.
The need for better monitoring of the mass bands registered with Spice Mass for the festival was also looked at. The rules were looked at very early, and the registration process started in November last year. Now, the early registration was necessary to ensure that each band met the requirements to participate, but most importantly, to allow the earlier submission of applications for concession of costumes and materials for production, early marketing of the bands, and earlier production of the costumes. Now, this earlier registration also gives SMC relevant data to plan as it relates to the needs of the bands and logistics for the road, budgeting for the services for providers, subvention, and prize monies.
During the official media launch of Spice Mass 2020 on Thursday, Jacob said coming from a successful 2019 carnival season, it is incumbent upon the corporation to maintain the level of success or improve on it. The August festival is being held under the theme, Many Events, One Carnival. Jacob says the theme remains the same from 2019 with a focus on traditional mass.
We're placing more emphasis on our traditional mass and making sure that the presence of our traditional mass is felt in our festival. Last year we focused on Calypso and the March Gras, so this year we are looking at another aspect of Carnival, specifically our traditional mass.
ACP Jesmond Prince made a clarion call for time management and organization to be paramount in the celebrations this year. The RGPF will train wardens to marshal bands on Juve morning as well as on Carnival Tuesday.
We're hoping this year, without taking away from the fun that people would want to have, to ask our patrons and in particular our band leaders, organizers, promoters to stick to the time. We really want you to stick to the time. I think when things are done in order, you establish yourself in a certain category that people would want to come. So this year we're going to work with Spice Mass to empower some of our wardens to assist with marshalling some of the bands in order of movement along the route of Carnival. And that would happen from Juve morning all the way to the parading of the band on Tuesday.
And that's the National Report. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson.
Okay, Leslie, and thank you and the team for the news. And folks, it is now time for us to take a look at the weather. Now, with the weather, let's see what we're seeing here is that the weather is expected to be mostly fair with a low chance of a few brief isolated showers by early Friday morning. Now, tonight's minimum temperature is expected to be just within the range of 24 degrees Celsius. Winds east northeasterly to east southeasterly at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Now, there is a small craft advisory that is in effect. So seas moderate, waves up to 7 feet in open waters. And we will have low tides tonight at 11:30 p.m. And folks, let's just say hello to a few people on the program right now. Let's say hello to, who's there? Edison, Magna, Rose, Kiween, Camille. I see we also have Zaka, Noreen, Nicker, Mishi, Monica, and Sweetness Viz. That's my sister. Kathleen. We have Naomi. And we have Ezran. Who else is with us? We have Dora with us. We have Kirin. We have Eunice with us as well. My mom and Mr. McQueen and Merrill. Joyous. John. Hey, John, what's going on? Wendy Ann. And Angela is with us as well. Big up, Wendy Ann. Christine. I see that you're there. And Jennifer, hello to you as well. Who else is with us tonight? Well, yeah, basically that's it. We would like to say thank you to everyone. And continue to follow us. We are going to continue to give you some more stories as they come. Joycelyn and Shireen. Nathaniel is doing good. Angel and Queen D. Hi. And Kathleen and Gemma and Margaret and Silly. Pick up yourself, all right, guys? So that's it. We got to run. And we have a lot of things to tell you about, man. So please remember to lock it in. Keep it there to my page. Continue to interact and engage with things that we post on there. Also remember to check our website, mikeylive.com. So folks, that's it for now. God bless you and your family until we meet again, which is very soon. God bless you. And remember, please, please, please be safe. There's a lot that you will be hearing tomorrow, God's willing. So again, be vigilant. Make sure that your phones are all charged and that you have your data so that you are not left out of any necessary information. Take care. Goodbye.